Today, there's a break in the weather. For over the past number of days, consistently, the clouds were crying, dropping their tears all over the land, into the forest, all over my garden. And it was a really beautiful time, a time of slowing down, being inside and just not having anywhere to go other than just be inside while the clouds cried. And this is how nature teaches us and inspires us, shows us what to do. Crying is an essential part of our health. It's when we let all the stuff, it's the internal shower, the washing, cleansing of our soul. Particularly when we can be very honest and sincere and connect to those raw emotions and feel them. Not needing to know why, to develop stories around it, but just to allow the flow, the pouring out of our soul. And this is our self-healing, self-cleaning system that is built into us. This is the way we heal. From the moment a child is born, the first thing we wait for is the cry. And it's the cry that lets us know there's life. Because when a child doesn't cry when it's born, everybody rushes around and panics, thinking there's something wrong. And as soon as the baby cries, there's a sigh of relief. And everybody knows that the child is well. Even if it's a boy or a girl, if the child is crying, it lets us know there's life. And somehow, some way, not long after that, we spend all of our efforts of stopping the child crying. We stick dummies or dinkies or whatever the name is, we soothe them and whatever, and we feel if the child is crying, then we're a bad parent, that we're not doing our job. And of course, we want the child to be smiling and happy and letting us know that we're a good parent. But there's got to be balance. And if you've noticed that as a toddler, they giggle and running around and then they fall over and bump their head or and they start screaming and they wail and have a good cry about the pain that they're experiencing right there and then. And if they're let to cry, and of course we go to comfort them and just let them know that it's all okay. If we do that, then gradually the pain inside the child subsides. It finishes, it completes. And whatever is happening with the child, whatever emotions have been released. And then the child gets up and goes and looks for the next adventure. And that's a beautiful demonstration of our healing system that is natural, inbuilt, and as an adult we can use to make ourselves well. So crying is an essential part of life. There's times where I've chosen to avoid the crying, and I've gone into a place of harshness, of a drought, as I describe it. I think, I'm in a drought and I don't want to feel, I disconnect. And whenever those uncomfortable feelings come, I use strategies to distract myself from it. I eat, or I put on a movie, a happy movie to make me laugh, to go in the opposite direction. When in actual fact, I need to go, tears are on the way. I'm feeling uncomfortable. The clouds inside of me are building. And this is the time where it's perfect to do some healing, to connect to those feelings. And again, I don't need to know why or what the story is or go into my head and be analytic. All I need to know is I'm feeling sad and I want to sit with this. I want to explore, what does my soul want to express? Yeah. And getting to the cry, getting to the tears, letting it go, going into the storm, letting it thrash about and squeeze out those clouds. That is a beautiful moment in our lives. And if we allow ourselves to continue until the tears are done, what happens is the sun comes out. It's a brand new day, feeling refreshed, clean, sorted, lighter, more creative, more energy, more excitement. And that's the process of how we heal. There's times where that process doesn't work and we get stuck in our tears, and quite often what's behind it is not a sincere state. It's a place of tantrum. It's a place of, I'm not getting what I want and I'm going to cry and I'm going to tantrum and I'm going to cry and cry and cry until somebody takes pity on me and somebody's going to recognize that I'm sad and I want attention, I want pity, I want people to know how I feel, and I want to be seen and heard and all that type of stuff, to know how I feel. That's not a healing state. That's not a place where we resolve things. And we'll stay there in that state over and over and over again. But it's when we hit that sincerity, that honesty, and you go, there's the spot. That's what I feel. That's what I need to do. And just to have that trust, just to have that feeling that we're capable, we're built to do this. Yeah, and to trust. There are times where I've been quite scared of feeling emotions and going into the depth and scared of what I'll discover. And that's the time where I call upon God. And for me, God is a friend. God is a friend. I've learnt over the time and my experience of connecting to God that God is my friend, my loving parent, who will stand by me and allow me to go through the process because God trusts me too. And it's just really lovely when I reach out to God that God is there. God is always there, particularly when I'm honest and sincere. Because if I'm in tantrum, how can God tell me in those moments? So, when the clouds cry, perhaps It's a time for you to take, for me to take time to connect with the inner part of me. How am I feeling? How are you feeling? What is that feeling? There's pain, and pain is resolved through tears and release, most of all honesty and truth. And when all that is done, there's space for love to flood in and fill up those empty places and take up permanent residence in our soul, and to fill our soul with love, to fill our soul with truth, and to fill our soul with grace. And we're changed. We benefit by that. So, go cry.